Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Revel Shorty, and yes, it's been a while, but I went away to Glasgow for the weekend, and plus it's been quite a couple of weeks of new releases. Don't get me wrong, there's some cool stuff out at the moment, but our store has been selling out new releases quickly, so I'm going to review this one now while I get the chance. We have Dudley, Datson, and The Forever Machine. It's another one of the Scott Snyder ones, and he's on a bit of a roll at the moment. Like, his post-Batman period has been absolutely fantastic for me. I mean, recently we've had Canary and Clear and Barnstormers, all of which with absolutely fantastic artists, every one of which I've picked up and really enjoyed. Even stuff which hasn't quite landed 100% for me, like he did a B-movie horror reel kind of thing, which was actually pretty cool, but not quite what I wanted out of it. Maybe they even get a movie made out of it. Even those have just been really, really good. I mean, don't get me wrong, we know he's going to be jumping onto DC to do their version of the Ultimate Universe, whatever that actually turn out like. But I'm still going to be looking for this kind of thing. I like this kind of level of creator doing something a bit different, a bit unusual. And I did really like it, and I'm going to go through a lot of the things that I really liked about it first, but I'm going to have to end with a little bit of a why it didn't end up on a pull list kind of thought process. And I know that part of this is the way I appreciate stories being told, and it might not be a reason to stop anyone else getting it, but I've got to just go through all the motions. To start with, I really like every single character in this, and there's a lot. It's absolutely packed. Dudley Datson himself is brilliant, and he's got relationships with a bunch of people, and every single one of them is well realised, both visually and the way they are written on the page, the dialogue they get, how they interact with the world, the relationships they have with each other, which are really quite nicely tied in. All of it makes sense within the framework of the world and leads quite nicely to us understanding what their opinions and responses should be when presented with things in the story. And these are paid off. It's all really well done. As character-driven sci-fi action adventure, it's fantastic. Even some of the background characters and the bad guys, they don't really get much time on the page. You still get the impression that thought's been put into every single one of them. Sometimes just by the choices of how they're, what clothes they're wearing, how they wear their hair, just when they only have a couple of lines, how they deliver those lines does add something to it. Snyder is a fantastic writer, and the artist, Jamal Iqbal, I apologize if I pronounced that surname incorrectly, really does do a very, very good job with the characters. One of my favourite things he does, as well as just general character design and rather wonderful choice where there is a flashback to the past where the art style changes significantly enough to be of a different time, but not so much that it just feels like lazy slapdashing some sepia-toned colour palette onto it. He also does really cool character design in terms of outfits and hairstyles and glasses, and it's a full body of work. On top of all the characters being amazing, I also really like the fact that there is a mixture of history and mythology going on here. I'm a fan of this kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, in the real world, the idea of secret societies that might be trying to pass off history as mythology or vice versa, trying to basically change our understanding of the world, I find that kind of very tiresome and boring. But in a comic book, when we can actually turn that a little bit off for a while, I'm all in favour of it. And don't get me wrong, the amount of times I've said that I really like that genre fiction can tell stories about the real world through fantastical adventures, love that, always about that, but I also understand that it's not necessarily the way every single comic can approach this kind of thing. And I think at this point we are more going to be getting a story about how the world within this story is approaching the difference between mythology and history. There's no real solid answer to this yet. I mean, I don't know if in this world the mythology of it all was actually a thing that really happened, or if there is some secret society that's trying to convince you that these were actual things that happened, not myths, or vice versa. We don't know, but I kind of like the fact that it leaves me at a point where I can go into the story with my mind open and hopefully get some answers, and if nothing else, I find it an intriguing concept just for storytelling. Now, all that being said, all the reasons why I thoroughly enjoyed this comic book, why it's not going into my pull list, does come down, unfortunately, to pacing. It's a double-sized issue, as Snyder is wont to do. For like $5, you get a whole bunch of pages with no ads, and you get, as I said, an awful lot of world building and character building and character interaction and plot threads intertangling with each other and a whole bunch of exposition. And I know I have said in the past I really quite like a nice slow burn story, but I don't think that quite works well for epic sci-fi action adventure kind of stuff. This is a science mystery. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I feel like it should be slightly more exciting than it was. I loved all the extra information. And I'm not going to say I would not be happy with all that information if it was maybe presented a little bit differently. I like the idea of getting this kind of fed through as the story progresses. Feels like when we got to the end of the second part, as in the end of this first issue, so much stuff had been going on that my brain was going, yep, come on, we're heading to a conclusion here, come on. And it's going to take just a little bit too long to get there for me, which is a shame. I am going to read it, but I'm probably going to wait to collection instead of getting it monthly. But that's it for this one for now. I don't know how many more reviews I'm going to do this week, but if you don't want to miss anything, make sure you do the social media thing. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.